You ever wondered how far God will go? Have you? Man that had worked a retail career for one of the biggest retailers in this country, on this continent, had a good history with them. And one day the higher-ups walked in and did some layoffs, and he as a manager was one of those layoffs. He didn't worry about it. Good Christian man, had faith, had a good resume, and he knew he'd bounce back pretty quick. So he began the job search, and it was going okay. He got called back for several final interviews and looked like he had the job, but when it came time to accept the job, wasn't there anymore. This went on for a month or two, and things were getting a little tight. He was getting a little worried, and nothing was developing. He had to settle in for a job at a little local department store there in town selling shoes, making less than he did when he was a part-time college student. He was still provided for, but life wasn't at its best at that time. That rocked on for about a month and a half, and saw one of his friends in church and just kind of getting bitter and losing faith about why he was in that spot. Why had God put him there? And his friend said, well, if you ask him why you're there, maybe if you do that, you'll get out of there quicker. I think it's okay to ask God questions. Not question God, but asking questions. Well, this gentleman did just that. That next Monday morning before he went into work in the parking lot, he sat there in his car, and he didn't do it in the nicest way, but he said a little prayer and asked God why in the world was he in the position he was in. He went on into work and entered the sales floor, and he saw a young lady there that he'd worked with several times and exchanged niceties that you would to a coworker of sorts. Asked her how her day was, and she responded in the normal small talk way. It was okay. Well, he sensed something different in her voice that morning, and something felt off. So he pressed her a little bit more, and she got exasperated. So, well, if you must know the truth, this morning before I left work, I took my 45 and I loaded it and I set it on the kitchen counter, and I put God on the clock. I said, God, if there's any reason that I need to continue in this thing we call life, you've got 24 hours to show me why. Pretty heavy stuff. She said, if I don't hear from him, I'm going to check out. This struck the gentleman pretty hard, and he forgot he was at work, didn't worry about it. He sat down next to the young lady and started sharing the cross and how much God loved her and the grace. Within seconds, tears started to flow down this young lady's face, and they sat there for the next 30 or 40 minutes sharing the love of Christ to her. He ended up getting fired from that job that day because he couldn't stop praying with this young lady and encouraging her. He got home that evening and he understood how far God would go. You see, God didn't care about finances. He didn't care about that job. Long before that fateful afternoon, when he stood in the gap for that young lady, God was moving. God was arranging it to where he was going to be in the way of her and eternity without God. His lights never got cut off. He never starved. God always provided. And he got another job shortly after and was fine. I would challenge all of you in your life. Maybe you're in a job that you don't care for and you question. Maybe you're in a home or a city that doesn't feel like home. And maybe it's something as simple as catching every red light on the way to work. Ask God, why are you there? Who is it that needs to be touched that day? Who do you need to interact with? For some reason, you're on a different path in a different season, and maybe he'll show it to you. And we never know who he's trying to help us stand in the gap for. I look at that with this old page. It's kind of tough throwing videos up every day, y'all. I got jobs and animals to take care of, and of course I'm a talker, always have been, but just try to share my heart and I know it makes a difference in some, and I just pray that it continue to maybe shed a little light of his love.